Hello, and welcome to another episode of For the Love of Sports. My name is Michael Rasile. This is the show where we get to talk about sports, we get to talk about business, and we get to talk about everything in between. However you're listening, wherever you are, you know exactly what you're supposed to do. Like and subscribe, click the 5-star review, leave a review. You know how to do this stuff at this point. But more importantly, today, my incredible guest, I have Kitanaasjon Jervis. I think I got that right. We'll get there. She's a group sales account executive at the Washington Commanders. Katana, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you,
It's
Michael?
a good day to be alive, Katana. It's a great day to be alive. Very happy.
Absolutely.
I'm in my basement, but happy to be above 6 feet above ground, then below ground. It's always a fun one. But Katana, this is gonna be a really fun one. Not super long, but I think we're gonna have some fun with it. I actually came and spoke to your class. I don't know, maybe a year, maybe it was 5 years ago at this point. The time doesn't matter anymore. But after I wrote my book, I came and spoke to your class, and we had some fun. I was able to inspire a young college student. My gosh, that's just it's just so nice. It's just so nice. But more importantly, I want to get to you, everything that you're doing. I think it is super, super cool. So the first question, obviously, Katana, I have for everybody on the For the Love of Sports podcast is, why do you love sports so much?
Oh man, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, honestly, my brother played football for like a little bit, but it really took off when my cousin got drafted for the Green Bay Packers,
Nice.
and
Who's your
for
cousin?
BJ Raji,
Oh,
he was
yeah.
yeah yeah
Very familiar.
you're
Very
right.
well known athlete on the. Okay. Very
Yeah,
cool.
so
Cool cousin.
he definitely, just it was kind of cool because I watched him grow up in the church and he used to play the drums. So grew up to be a big boy. Went to Boston College
Yep.
alongside his brother. And since he started playing, we've kind of just followed him. And then of course I'm from New York, so I followed the Giants as well. And that's how we got into football basically. Just my cousin made it big. He was like, "Woo!" And yeah, went to college football games too.
Of course.
So
That's awesome, man. I had no
yeah.
idea. That's so cool. Yeah, what's that like having such a because he was dominant. I know he wasn't in the league for too long.
Hmm.
He was there for what, 7, 8 years, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't
Yeah.
remember the something like that. But like, what's that? That's got to be kind of cool, right? Like every Sunday, turn it on TV. Like you get to watch Aaron Rodgers do his thing, obviously, and then on the defensive side, you get to watch your cousin just absolutely dominate on the inside. That's got to be sweet.
Yes, it was. It was just really. It was kind of unreal because when my aunt first announced it, because we all grew up in the church and she was the bishop. When she announced it, I really didn't understand what was happening because I didn't
Hmm.
really know too much about football. And she was just like, BJ got drafted number 9 for the Green Bay Packers. And everybody just starts cheering. And I was like, I really don't know what's going on. And then it became real when I saw him playing on TV.
Hmm.
And I was kind of just like, oh my gosh, that's really my cousin. And like, I actually have a best friend who is a big Green Bay Packers fan, and he's from Wisconsin. And I told him, I was like, "Yeah, my cousin plays on your team." And he
That's
was
awesome.
like, "Really?" I was like, "Yes, BJ Raji." And he was like, "No way." So it was just nice to be able to say like, I have a cousin
Yeah.
that played in the NFL.
Yeah, he's not just played. Like, a lot of people know somebody that played in the NFL. He dominated for the time he was
Oh,
there, which is so cool. So that makes it even cooler, right? Drafted top 10, too. That's awesome. What a cool way to kick off this interview, right? That's a fun first 4 minutes. So I guess that's great, right? That definitely gets you involved in the sport more. You're 100% going to start watching more on Sundays. Oh, the Packers are on.
hmm
Let's go watch my cousin play. I have a very great relationship with my cousin. If he was playing in the NFL, I could only imagine what that was like. I guess where for you was that line of, hey, this is cool, to, okay, now I want to pay attention to other sports. Now I want to potentially put my career down this path, because I'm sure that wasn't always like, oh, well, now he's in the NFL. Now I want to work in sports. Like, where was that, I guess? When did you cross that line?
So that line was actually crossed. It's weird. I think it was while I was still in my master's program, and it was when we were still doing in-person classes. I got my master's in performing arts, leadership, and management, and I honestly, my love of esports is kind
Mm-hmm.
of what pushed me to do sports. So I love gaming. I love competitive gaming. I've run tournaments. I've run leagues before. So just the competitive spirit, and then of course, whenever like fans come out, I love creating great experiences for them. So, I couldn't find my way directly to esports, so I kind of was just like, you know what, we'll see what sports is like too. And the first challenge was with the Washington Nationals, because I didn't know think about baseball, and I certainly did not like watching it on TV,
Mm-hmm.
but in person, different story.
Way more fun.
And yeah, just working guest experience there was phenomenal, and the energy with the fans, and win or lose, it still definitely was a good day to just be able to work in the industry. So that's kind of like when everything just spearheaded for me, just in the middle of like gaming, and I was like, you know what, I really want to do sports, and esports is just as competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And there's obviously a significant amount of crossover there. I've had many people, in the esports industry on this show prior, and there's so many things that are starting to happen in that, and they were happening prior to the pandemic.
Right.
Then certain things, like obviously the in-person events and all that, kind of went away. Hopefully, it's starting to come back a little bit more now. But then there's so many other things that are starting to come out that have come from the pandemic. I mean, the fact that esports was the only game in town literally for months, where
Yes.
people, if you want, I started watching the NBA 2K League, right? Like I started watching MLB The Show. That's when I downloaded a Twitch account. Like I don't know if you paid attention, that guy at Barstool who had that dumb, played his dumb video game that hundreds of thousands of people were watching. So that really brought me into this space a little bit more, and I'm sure I'm not the only person that did that. That really just shined the light on esports significantly more, which only is going to amplify it. So I'm sure many of your talents and traits and attributes that you're learning through, let's call it traditional sports, will very
Right.
much be able to transition over into esports in some way, shape, or form. And now I'm kind of curious. So you're with the Commanders now, absolutely fantastic. I do want to get to that, but before you were with the Commanders, little birdie told me I came in, spoke to your school, to your class specifically. I wrote a book for anybody out there that's unaware. You can click the link in the show notes. I give away the book for free. I mean, it's the ebook version or the PDF version. You're more than welcome. It's called Winning in Sports Business. It's essentially a how to on how to get a job in sports. Now, you already had the job in sports part, right? You already are working for the Nationals. So I am curious. I came in and I spoke to your class. I've talked to multiple students afterwards, including you. I guess, like, what were some of your takeaways? Like, what were some of the things I did good? What were some of the things I could do better? So that way, next time when I go to another class, I can help out even more people like you.
So, um, to be completely honest, I really don't have anything to say as far as like doing better, because the one biggest
Stop. Too good.
takeaway,
Too good to me.
the one biggest takeaway was like the best advice, that a lot of people have said in different ways, but it just really stood out because you said, the worst that could happen is that they say no, and you're
Mm-hmm.
just where you already are. So, as far as asking for help and reaching out to people, and I really started taking that and manifesting it, especially with my job at Massage Envy. I actually ran into a client, one of our members. He actually knew somebody who worked here with the Commanders. So he told me, he was like, "Hey, send me over your resume. I'll see if I can reach out to them and let them know that you're looking to work in sports." And like the worst that could happen was no response, and that's fine. A lot of times it's really hard to get into sports, especially in higher positions, because they really like to promote from internally.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things I did was with the Sport Business Association at Shenandoah. One day they said, "Hey, we're volunteering at a Washington game," and it was when they were playing the Bengals and I believe the Ravens as well. So the preseason games.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't do both of them because my boyfriend actually bought me tickets to the Ravens preseason game here at FedEx Field. So I was just like, "Hey, I like
I'm
didn't
gonna
buy the
be
tickets.
there.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
gonna be
sorry.
there, but I can't volunteer. But I can come for the Cincinnati game." So they were like, "All right, well, come out." Went out there. We were working. We were scanning tickets at Gate H, and I seen a table with some folks that work here. And all I did was go up and I said, "Hey, what's it like doing sales in sports?" And they answered my questions and then say, "Hey, just connect with us on LinkedIn." That's exactly what I did. Just say, we're just going to go for it. Because, like you said, the worst that could happen is that people say no. But you also said people like helping people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they were doing. They were helping me. connected me to all the right people, and here I am in
Here
the
you
flesh.
are. You made it. Well, we're virtual, but whatever. It's good enough. You made it. You're on the podcast now. Look at that. Your life only goes down here. Sorry to let you know that, Katana. But no, I think that's awesome. I'm really grateful that you actually took a lot of that stuff to heart and utilize it, right? And my whole goal is when I go and speak to a class, if I could just help one single person, that is so that makes it totally worth it for me. Because like again, you were gonna get here in some way, shape, or form. If I just expedite, if I just helped you skip like steps like E through K and then got you right to where you needed to be so that you could get that job, that is totally worth it to me. So I'm very grateful that you did that. And 100%, people love help. Like, who doesn't like helping somebody else? It's always a funny thing. Like,
Yeah,
asking for help is so easy. None of us do it enough, but it's like anyone can ask me for help. Like, if I can do it, I'll do my best to try and get there. So
right.
that is awesome. I'm very grateful that you did that. I'm very grateful that this worked out. And again, makes me happy, right? Now it makes me happy knowing that I was able to help you. So I think that is so darn cool. And so now you're on your way to success, right? You already had the job at the Nationals, so that's already on your resume. So bing bang boom, you were already on your way there. But I just think it's really cool that you were able to take your job at Massage Envy, where if you said, "Hey, how could I get a job at the Commanders working at Massage Envy?" I would have not been able to connect those dots. But again, clearly, you knew someone who knew someone. Everybody knows somebody, right? And so you just ask those questions, and what's the worst that can happen? And look at you. You were able to volunteer for those positions, and then that led you to running into more people and finding the opportunity there, which I think is awesome. So I do actually want to talk about what you're doing at the Commanders, right? You're doing group sales tickets. Selling tickets is very hard work. It's a lot of long hours. I can only imagine how many phone calls you make a day. I can only imagine how many emails you send a day. So I guess, obviously that's not your overall goal is to sell tickets. Maybe you love it. Who the heck am I? I guess, like, what have you learned in this type of position that you think you can move forward with in your career in esports and normal sports and wherever you want to go from there?
I really love working with people in general. So, I actually stress that my why is being able to, share people an experience that can really make the game day different for them. It's a lot more fun. There are a lot of extra what you called. There are just so many new things that are
Mm-hmm.
coming in, especially in sports. And then, with esports, like it's the same thing. They have something for fan experience.
Mm-hmm.
So that's essentially what I'm doing. Is just, we're making sure we can get you into the best games for the most affordable price and into some of the best seats to get the best game day experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I like contributing to folks' experience. That's why I did guest
Yeah.
experience with the Nets because it's like I want to make sure people are having a good time, win or lose. Like we're still gonna have fun,
Yeah.
you know. So that's definitely kind of the biggest reasons why I'm like here, what I do. I'm just basically talking to people, build relationships, and there's some great people here, and I'm excited to have worked with some of the clients I've already had and to be working with the current clients I have now.
That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't? Again, you like helping people. You're looking to enhance their experience through what you've been able to learn and achieve at this point, which I think is just awesome. And now you're able to take that and bring that to them and bring them the best experience because there's only 8 home games. Well, I guess kind of nine sometimes home games a
Yeah.
year, depending on how the schedule rocks out. So there's only so many chances, right? There's only so many chances to get out to a game. There's only so many chances to be able to see your team live. I mean, I'm a Giants fan. I still try with as absolutely horrible as we have been in the last like decade. I still try and get to at least one game a year because there's nothing like it. Being in the crowd, seeing everything happen, the reaction, right? There's 60,000 people around you screaming. It
Yeah.
is so much fun. Like there's nothing like that. And I love watching Red Zone and sitting on my TV and the best angle and the beer is way cheaper. But there's nothing like being there in the stadium doing that with everyone else, which I think is really cool. And so I'm kind of curious, like what I'm not asking you like where you're trying to go in the next 2 weeks, but I guess like what are some of your ideas for the future? What are some of the things that you're trying to look to do and to continue to be on this path of being successful in the world of sports? Is there anything on the horizon that you're like it'd be really cool if I could be GM, right? Maybe it's GM. I don't know. You tell me.
Honestly, I don't know like specifics anymore. It's more of if I can wiggle my way into a position where I can mix the esports genre with the real sports genre, then that's like the dream if
Hmm.
I can like mix the two. But as far as like specific positions, I mean, I work with people now. If I went to like guest experience, I'd be working with people there. If I went to community relations, I'd work with people there. So I'm very content and very happy with where I'm going, and definitely can't wait to get into the swing of my new position here,
Hmm.
as a group sales account executive, and creating kind of like almost annual events that
Yeah,
hopefully we can host for like big groups out here.
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's no specific title I'm
No,
really reaching for. Just I just know that it will be in the sports industry, and I'll find my way into esports.
and it sounds like you're going to be talking to people and helping people out throughout the entire thing. That's the that
Exactly.
seems like what it is. Out of curiosity, I'm unaware. Does like the DC area, are there any? Because I know there's a bunch of esports venues around the country. I'm assuming DC is a pretty big city, right? Do they have like a live arena or anything that where you can watch some like LOL or Call of Duty or
Um,
anything like that?
I'm actually not sure. I do know. I think the Overwatch team
Hmm.
might actually have some kind of venue
Hmm.
where they play the home games and have fans come out to, and that's the Washington Justice team.
Very cool.
So don't quote me on it.
I won't. But you said it on an
I, I,
interview, so I don't know. It's
I
kind
said
of
it on
quoting,
an
but I
interview,
won't personally quote you. You can
but
quote yourself. I
I'm
love it.
letting viewers know too. Like,
Don't quote me. All
I
right,
don't. Yeah.
good to know. I'll just put a disclaimer at the bottom of the show notes on that one. Well, Katana, this is awesome. I sincerely appreciate your time. In case anybody out there is wondering, how would they possibly get in contact with you in case they want to, I don't know, buy a couple tickets to the upcoming games? I mean, Commanders are doing some cool stuff out there. I don't
Oh
Might want
yeah.
to go see new uniforms, new team name, new other stuff potentially in the future. I don't know. Where can they contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, you can directly reach me on LinkedIn. That is wait, there we
You
go.
got it.
That is my name, fully spelled out on LinkedIn. And then I do have a direct line as well. So that's actually all on LinkedIn, my phone number
Perfect.
and my email. So, yeah, and I do have a Twitter as well, at KIT takes command. So, if you
Uh,
want to take command of
uh,
your game day experience,
love it.
let me know.
And for anybody that's just listening, Katana has some sweet burgundy in her hair right now.
I do.
Just
I
throwing that out there. So
Yeah.
you are crossing off you checking all those boxes, Katana. Well, Katana, thank you so much for your time. I sincerely appreciate it. I know you're trying to go out, get some drinks for your coworkers. It's well deserved. It's a Thursday. You deserve that. So sincerely appreciate that. I will make sure to have your Twitter and LinkedIn in the bio in case anybody does want to reach out to you. Ask you some questions. See what's going on. Nothing ever. Katana likes helping people. Just ask her. How can she help? That's
I
all we're
do.
here to do. So, Katana, sincerely appreciate it. To you, to everyone listening, the only thing we don't get more of is time. So, I really appreciate you guys giving me some of yours. So other than that, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. Bye, everybody.